Hello, everyone. Welcome in. And we are very happy to have you here this evening. This is the new moon in Libra. So very exciting energy for us. Let me just move this here. Hi, make myself bigger. Well, we are very happy that you're able to join us. We remind you to have something to write on, to set intentions with, and a pen to write things down with. Otherwise, we pretty much have things covered for you. If you like, you can also add the candle. I do have a few other objects that I like to do just because I like to incorporate all of the different elements in when I do any kind of a ceremony. So I think if you wanted to have anything else, you can just, a candle would be perfect. So those are the things. The mandatory things would be something, a nice piece of paper to write on, because I do save my cards, and then I also something to write with. And I will say, I did, for everyone that's here, I chose this card. I will explain later why I chose this card, but this is one of Cerie's pictures that she sent. She had postcards. She's a professional, semi-professional photographer. Yes, Cerie. And so she had cards made out that she gave to us at Christmas. And I've been using her cards to write my intentions on ever since. And then I keep them under a very pretty amethyst. And then when the 6 months are done, from the new moon to the full moon, is when you can go back and look at what happened with your intentions. And you will find, oh, I don't remember writing that, but hey, I got it, right? So that's very, the fun part about keeping track of those things. So I see some faces that I recognize. I see some new names that are new to us. So wonderful. So we do always like to have a clearing as we start. So I'm going to pop out to this level, and then I'm going to let Ruby go ahead with the clearing. And we do have a nice picture in for her to use for the clearing. So I'm going to go ahead and put that up, Ruby, if that's okay. Okay, great. Go ahead.
Okay, everybody, let's get settled into a comfortable posture. You can be seated or lying down with your spine gently lifted and yet relaxed. Close your eyes or soften your gaze. Take 3 deep breaths, inhaling through the nose, exhaling through the mouth. With each exhale, let go of any tension in the body, the mind, and the emotions. Let go of any worries or to-dos outside this sacred circle. As you breathe, allow yourself to settle more deeply in this present moment. Feel the support beneath you, the earth, the chair, the floor. Know that you are safe, held, and supported. As the new moon in Libra invites us into new beginnings with a focus on balance, harmony, and relationships, sense the energy of equilibrium entering the space. Libra is the sign of the scales, inviting us to weigh, to harmonize, to bring justice and peace. Call in that vibration now. The energy of balance, fairness, beauty, and relational harmony. With your next inhale, imagine drawing a gentle, luminous light of soft rose and a pale blue, silvery white outline, a light of harmony. As you exhale, imagine releasing shadows of imbalance, inner conflict, old patterns of too much or too little, tension between outer and inner worlds. At your crown, sense your connection to the cosmos, the moon, and the heavens. Through your heart, invite a feeling of openness, compassion, love, and whatever present situation comes to your mind. Through the solar plexus, sense your boundary, your personal power. Through the feet, feel grounded, stable, secure. As you scan, if you notice any places of tension or heaviness, breathe into them, soften them, and release them. Now imagine yourself standing at the center of a great sacred balance scale. On one side rests all that you've been carrying: burdens, expectations, places of giving too much, places of holding back. On the other side, place your intentions, what you wish to birth, the seeds of alignment, and your heartfelt desires for this lunar cycle. See the scale gently right itself. The two sides settle into harmony. Your burdens are held lightly. Your intentions are nurtured. Feel that energy of balance flowing through you. Now, bring to mind 2 to 3 intentions or themes you wish to plant under this new moon in Libra. They might relate to relationships, inner alignment, creative projects, letting go, or receiving. As each intention arises within you, quietly affirm, with this new moon, I plant this seed in love, harmony, and balance. Feel these seeds settling into your heart, your subtle body, ready to be nurtured. Begin to bring your awareness back to the room. Feel your hands, your feet, your body. Wiggle fingers and toes. Take a deep, grounding breath in and exhale fully. When you're ready, go ahead and gently open your eyes.
Thank you very much. And I will let everyone know that we actually do put those meditations out on the channel. We kind of separate them out. If you want to just listen to some of the ones that have inspired you in the past. So that's an opportunity for you to be able to reset yourself, because a lot of that clearing energy is going to be needed as we're coming up into the things that are happening. So I want to just touch on the astrology briefly, and I want to actually give you the reason why I decided to use this particular photo for the symbolism of Libra. And to me, it's because of the two wings and it being balanced. And one of the things, I was kind of downloaded this message is like, yes, and one side is your relationships and the other side is you. You need to give yourself equal attention to as everybody else that gets in your life. So everybody else is on one side and you are on the other. And that is an important part of what this Libra energy is. And it's interesting to me that Libra is actually considered a masculine sign. Air and fire are considered masculine, and water and earth are considered feminine. So it's interesting that Venus rules this, and she also rules Taurus, which is another fascinating thing because we have the full moon coming up in Taurus. So she's ruling both of these lunations. So, and it's interesting that this is at 28 degrees. And on the full moon, Venus will then be at this same 28 degrees. So think about that. She's in Libra right now, but she's in the early degrees of Libra. But by the time the full moon happens in Taurus, she will be at 28 degrees, just like remembering the fact that we sent intentions. So I want people to realize that. The other thing I do want people to think about as part of setting their intentions is please remember that we need to ground as much as possible. One of the things that is happening with this 28 degrees, the new moons are all going to be at 28 degrees. And we are going to be having a 28-degree solar eclipse in Aquarius, because we're going to be, the next time the nodes move, they're going to be in Aquarius and Leo. They're going to change in the summer, but we always get a little bit ahead of time and a little bit behind. We have the eclipses in the old and new signs. So in February, we are going to be getting that eclipse at 28 degrees. And then after that, we will have a Virgo, I believe that's at 12 degrees. Yes, I believe we have a Virgo full lunar eclipse at 12 degrees. And right in between those two, right in between the two eclipses, is when that 0 degrees happens with Neptune and Saturn. So huge energy, anyone, right? We have all of that that's going to be happening in the winter, February. February is a big time for us. So I want people to be aware, because that is considered the beginning, but we've got things that are going to fall apart in the meantime. We have things that are going to be happening, and they're supposed to happen. I'm an astrologer. Many astrologers will say, oh yeah, there's chaos that's going on. And even beforehand, we were talking about, I had been asked a question about meteors, and I'm like, well, meteors in the sky have always in the past meant the king loses his head, right? So the king dies or loses his power, things like that. So that is very often what the comets mean. And there's more than one comet that's out there. So there's, to me, I feel like there's multiple. Someone said there's as many as 6. I knew of like 2, and now there's 6. And then that doesn't include 3I Atlas. So there's, with that energy, it's just things that we can't even predict are going to be started. I don't think here's what I know. I think there's a lot of things that are going to be breaking down. Will it be in the process of breaking down? But by the time we get to next summer, when the nodes change signs, and that'll be late July, there is going to be huge changes, and we'll see what we're moving towards. We won't be at that destination, but we will have a much better picture of how things are changing and how we need to deal with things. So I want everybody to get in the habit of really taking care of their body. And that's the biggest part, is being aware of what your body needs. That's why when I saw the wings, and I really got the message of like, okay, everybody else is on one side and you are on the other. That is how important you are to what is going on out there. So really take a look at that energy as far as things going forward. So this is the other crazy thing today. I can't, I'm an astrology nerd, so bear with me. Neptune moved to 29 degrees this morning. Neptune is now at 29 degrees of Pisces and will remain at 29 degrees of Pisces until January. The very last degree of the zodiac. Big endings are coming. And someone talked about the fixed star Scheat and Scheat, and how it's in the constellation of Pegasus, and how that meant gaining freedom. So I think that is one of the things that this signifies. Neptune only goes to 29 degrees, stays at 29 degrees the entire time. It is also going to be part of a grand water trine that is starting today and is going to be in effect for right into mid-December, a grand water trine. And to me, that's the supportive energy of our emotions, of being able to be self-sufficient, not getting caught up in other things, just, staying with the flow. And the other cool thing is Eastern time, about 10 minutes before midnight, we move into Scorpio season. That is also today. So I find it very interesting that we get Scorpio on the same day that Neptune moves into Pisces. And I'm like, wow, this is going to be a wild ride for Scorpio season. So stay tuned to this channel, because I think we're going to be covering a lot of different subjects, because I think things are going to get really crazy and chaotic out there. The best thing to do is stay in observer mode. Get your popcorn out, drink your wine, and just say, okay, we're going to be paying attention to what's going on, but don't engage in that chaotic energy. Don't be involved in fear. Don't be involved in anger, because that is a control mechanism. So that's what I wanted to just kind of say about the astrology. And we'll cover a little bit what we're doing for setting intentions. But we always also like to really include what Spirit has to say about the things that are coming in. So does anybody have anything they want to say about the astrology? Otherwise, I'll turn it over to Sari to go forward.
That was awesome, Dawn.
Yeah, it's awesome. And thank you. So let's see, Ron and myself and Morgan are pulling some cards. So we don't know what we've each pulled. And Denise, you mentioned the veil. And I pulled this from the Oracle of the Veil that I bought a couple of weeks ago in London. And Dawn, you couldn't have been more accurate about setting intentions and the energy balancing both sides, because the card that came up was freedom within fear. And I think it's important that we recognize there is a vibration of fear that's out there. It could be external to us, but it could also be within us. And so we must acknowledge that the shadow of fear is something that we've experienced. We've all known that something might have made us feel frightened or unnerved, or maybe stuck with the inability to act. Because we were talking before we went on, there's a lot of fake news, like what's real and what's not. And so what do we actually recognize as the truth? So I said, okay, as we set our intentions in this new moon, what about fear do we need to let go? Because freedom implies the ability to release. And so I pulled from the All-Seeing Heart Oracle deck, and I pulled a card called Spirit Essence. And it's around self-reflection, letting go, and fairness. So this is Libra. And I mean, you cannot make this up. So it says, be fair in your self-judgment and discard any beliefs and memories or concepts that no longer serve your greater good. So as we set our intentions, I think it's important to recognize there is fear within us and around us, but for the collective, be fair and not judge ourselves so harshly as we're balancing both sides of that scale, and let go of any beliefs that no longer serve us, that we just need to recognize are no longer who we are. And it's just a beautiful energy. So freedom within fear, and then letting go of that self-judgment, that criticism, that blame, letting all that go and walking into this new energy. And that's, I think, how we should start our intention ceremony, with recognizing the reality of some of what's going on within us and around us, but also not being afraid of it. So with that, I'll turn it over to Ron, who's going to pull a rune for us.
Thank you, Sheree. Appreciate it. I did pull a rune, and I'm always amazed how it seems to be in line with what the ladies are saying. And I'm trying to pick up the rune with my one hand. So this is the rune, and the rune is of constraint, okay? Constraint and necessity. So the necessity of learning to deal with severe constraint is the lesson of this rune. This rune represents the obstacles that we create for ourselves, as well as those we encounter in the world around us. Both can be equally difficult to handle. The role of this rune is to identify our shadow, our dark or repressed side, places where growth has been stunted, resulting in a weakness that are often projected onto others. And in italics, it says, don't take this world personally. Remember, you're here on a planet that you paid for. Okay. This rune is saying, work with the shadows. Examine what is in your nature that attracts hardships and misfortunes in your life. When at last you could look upon the rune of constraint with a smile, and you should always do that because remember your source, you will recognize the troubles, denials, and setbacks of life as your teachers, your guides, and your allies. Remember, we're here for experiences. We're here to enjoy the ride, even if it's painful sometimes. The need for restraint is unquestionable. Drawing this rune indicates there may well be holdups and reasons to reconsider your plans carefully. Clearly, there's work to be done on yourself, and take it on with good humor and show perseverance. This is the time to pay off old debts, to restore, if not harmony, at least balance. And I believe I heard someone say balance 2 or 3 times earlier. So mend, restore, redress. When fishermen can't go to sea, they repair their nets. Let the constraints of the time serve you in righting your relationship to yourself, capital S, to the divine self. Being mindful that rectification must come before progress. And as always, consider the uses of adversity. So again, along the line with everybody else is saying, be cautious, be constrained, and also know that you're going to push through whatever it is, and we all are. And I'm going to pass it on to, is it Morgan? Okay, you got it.
Thanks so much, Ron. Okay, so I pulled a card. This is what jumped out from the Soul Coaching Oracle cards. And you'll see here somebody's about to take an adventure. And this is what we've been hearing this evening, that we are headed on the adventure. Scorpio season, Dawn was talking about, is going to be a little bit of a bumpy ride. So I thought this is interesting how this one flew out for us. So it says intuitively what I was hearing when I looked into this card. It said, you will be guided through the shadows. You'll be given what you need to support you. Okay, so every step of the way you take, do you see how she's holding a walking stick there? So we'll be given everything we need in the moment we need it to support us. And then the initial thing that came out was follow the yellow brick road, brick by brick. This is how they said it. And they said, slow and steady, you are building a firm foundation. And the book says adventure. And also the number on this is number 4, which is about stability or support. So it says, take risks. You're entering new frontiers and a period of expansions. Go beyond self-imposed limitations. Look at the world around you in a new and different way. Sometimes exciting is just around the corner. Your soul wants you to know adventure entails risks, and without them, existence can become stagnant and lackluster. If your life seems uninspired in some areas, be willing to take chances and try something new. Don't wait until an amazing opportunity presents itself. Start with small adventures, and they will create momentum for bigger and bolder ones. Try changing your hair color or style, or drive a different way to work. If you're shy, walk up to a stranger and start talking. If you take enough small risks, soon your life will become a great and grand adventure. And then the affirmation is, wonderful new experiences fill my life. So with that, I'm going to pass that on to Dawn.
Hello again. So definitely the sensation that we're getting is this balance that is coming out. Somebody once pointed out to me that Libras aren't balanced. Libras are trying to attain balance. So that is one of the things that helped me remember the different things about Libra, about, they're trying to make a decision. So they're always weighing those choices. And that's one of the tropes about Libras not being able to make up their minds is that thing. But the reason that they do that, because I know some people that are Libras, is because they want to take a look at all of the information. They want to be fair. They want to make sure that they look at everything from both sides. So that's why I always want to, you know, I'm defending Libras a little bit here. And I also want to say Libras and Virgo placements and Cancer placements, you are notorious overgivers and you are marvelous friends, but no one ever understands that you expect that back. So that is something that and the truth is sometimes it's like it doesn't even matter. There's certain people in your life that it will never matter. The outpouring of love that you have for them, but you can wear out yourself. You'll never run out of that love, but you will run out of that energy. So that's why when I saw the two wings and the balance that it was showing me, it was like this whole side is you. This is how important you taking care of yourself is. I cannot stress that enough, because it was just like Spirit was like, yep, everybody else is over here. You're over here. You have to be equally balanced with this side. That's the big message that I was getting regarding this whole intention setting. And what we'll go ahead now is go ahead and start our ceremony. So if you have candles and you want to join, otherwise, I believe in the quantum energy field. So even if you're watching this as a recording, you are with us in this moment. If you do not have a candle or anything else with you besides paper and pen, you are covered. We are sharing. So let's go ahead. And I always like to call in the angels as protection. Archangel Michael for his strength. Archangel Raphael for healing, because a lot of us are going through healing. I have had so many people I know that they've been sick. They've been, injuries. There's so many more people around that's been happening to. And I actually have 2 candles. So this is my first one because it smells absolutely delightful. And Libra is very much about enjoyment of luxury. And this is the other candle I am lighting. To me, it's much more of a Taurus-y style candle. The rock. There we go. Look at that torch. Okay, there we go. So as well as Raphael, I also call on Sandalphon, which is about joy and dancing and beauty and art. And also Uriel, who is very involved in, I think, all of this Uranus energy that has been so activated for all of us. So I want people to be aware of those energies that we're having going on right now. Now, to bring in the other elements, one of the things that I did is I did get a bowl of water. My family appreciates that very much because I'm either getting burned or I'm getting cuts on my fingers. And so they always want to make sure that I'm doing okay. And the thing that I have to put in my water is I have an amethyst. This is kind of like, amethysts are kind of they can do everything kind of a crystal. And I'm going to be putting this in the water. Always check if your crystal should go in the water or not. This one can go in the water. Never put selenite anywhere near water, ever. So the other thing I do have is a separate stone, because I utilize crystals to also take the reflection of my light as I'm setting intentions. So I will be using that as well. So we have water, we have fire, we need air. So this is going to symbolize the vibration of this Tibetan bowl. It's going to symbolize, so 3 times. So with that, I think we've covered all of our elements. So what I want you to do is think about what Libra means for you and maybe what house you have Libra in. If it's your first house of self, you can maybe set intentions regarding your body, because that's the first house. The first house is self, you, your feelings, your opinions, your personal body. And you can go through and look at the different things in the houses. Very simple to do. Sometimes is just to take a quick look at what the meanings are. The money houses, 2, 6, 10. The social houses, the house of friends, that's the 11th house. And there's hidden houses. So I want to let you think about where Libra is in your chart and incorporate maybe that into what's going on for you. I'm a Gemini rising. Libra is my 5th house. So it's my house of children. And it is also my house of what lights me up, my joy, my passion, that kind of Leo energy that people talk about. So what is my heart space? One of the things that I like to do as well is I look at new moon astrology and look at Libra, but I think that you have to remember that Libra is about luxury and elegance and enjoying those things for ourselves. And one of the things that I also took from this was it's about diplomacy. And the best thing about diplomacy is that you don't have to agree with the other person. And we're going to have a lot of that coming up. That's why I'm mentioning it. You don't have to agree with the other person, but you can be kind. So that is the most important energy, because you're being that example for them. And it's so hard sometimes that, you kind of, like, okay, things are going to be shown, things are going to be happening out there. And it's going to be one of those situations where you feel like saying, oh man, I told you so. And we really don't need that kind of energy, just because when people are waking up, and they're going to be waking up to all different kinds of things, their personal beliefs as far as religion, and how their family values may be different than what's going on now, and the belief system they've had about banking systems and their job that they've been in. There are so many things that I think that are going to be coming out that we all have to be prepared to be a little bit angry and try and ground that, because I think we're having a lot of Sedna moments, but that's a talk for a different day. That I want you to incorporate the relationship piece of what Libra is. Libra is very much the axis of Aries is self. Libra is about others. But remember those wings. You have to have your whole side is a wing. So I am going to let you know some of my things that I've written down so that you can get an idea of what you want to write down. And the first thing I had is I actually wrote down Libra is masculine. So I wanted to incorporate in my intentions that we are all in this together. And I need to balance that energy with my own needs. So that's part of what we're doing with this channel, is like, we are all in this together. We are all learning together. We're all supporting each other. We don't call judgments on things. So the other thing is I want to easily find myself fully appreciating the luxury that is in my life. Okay, if you have beautiful candles at home, maybe you should light them occasionally. Maybe you should enjoy those things. A beautiful thing that you can do is candle gazing. You can turn it into a meditation and make that very easy for yourself and help clear your mind of the other things that are, maybe there's a little thing that you need to settle. You need to settle when you come home at the end of the day. And that's one of the ways to do that, is quieting the mind. And you can do that by watching a fire or candle gazing. The other thing is about the luxury of my life. How many people have special perfumes that were given to them, or special lotions that they never use because they're saving it for good? Now's the time. Now's the time to enjoy it. Now's the time to appreciate it, because, if not now, then when? We are going to be going into something so completely new that who knows if we can even care about things like that. We may be in a position where, like, I'm going to be moving around so much that I can't take things with me. And that's one of the things I can't take with me. I can't take all kinds of lotions and stuff. I maybe have a toothbrush and toothpaste, and that's it. Right. So I think enjoying what you have and being thankful for it, that's a great way for manifesting. I love everything I have in my life. I love all the luxuries I have. And then more of that comes in because you're appreciating it. So that is one of the things that I am asking myself to take note of. I want the notion that I must always be a nice person, totally lifted from me. We may be spiritual, but we are not perfect. So I want everyone to realize that as well. Is like, Libra and Virgo and Cancer, it doesn't matter that not everyone thinks that you're a nice person. Because I can't think of any Libra or Virgo or Cancer people that aren't caring people. And I think that the energy that you have is so special. And one of the things I've been discovering is that you have a bigger job out there. I did a card reading yesterday, and one of the things that really, really struck me is you have such a special job going forward, especially those 3 signs, that you have to break away of all the caregiving for people that are adults now. You have other jobs that you're going to have to do, that you're needed for. And again, even when you're doing those jobs that you signed up for, right? You're going to need to take care of self. I keep getting that message. I see other people getting that message on for all of their readings is like self-care. You have to take care of your body because the body is going through some big changes. So that is the other part of that. Don't worry about being that nice person, quote unquote. I want all upsetting preoccupation with fairness easily lifted from me. And I will quote Princess Bride, "Life isn't fair, Highness. Anyone that tells you different is selling something." So I'm a Princess Bride person, so I had to throw in that quote. So and also speaking in a way that allows the other person to feel valued, and because Libra is about you are in a relationship with someone else, and even if there is a big difference of opinion, you have to find a common ground, because when things are in a chaotic disposition, if there's a flood that happens in your town, it doesn't matter what that person's political party is. All hands are on deck. So that is the energy that I want us to kind of embrace. You don't have to be perfect. And if you do need a little bit of draining yourself of their energy at the end of the day, then do some of the self-cares that we usually talk about on this channel. So with that, if there's anything else that anybody might have to add about what they're writing themselves, they can feel free to chime in. But I think we are ready to go through and start our little bit of a meditation as we go into this. So let me go ahead and take your piece of paper and fold it up and hold it to your heart chakra, your heart. And I want you to slowly close your eyes. And we are going to head to the mountains. And the sky above us is dark. We're standing there, our eyes are still closed, and we are smelling around us the pine. You can always smell pine when it's nearby. And you can tell that the leaves are changing. There's always that certain scent in the air when some of the leaves have fallen down. And now you start to move forward. And as you're walking, you can hear the rustle of the leaves. We are in this beautiful fall season. And in the sky, many stars. There is no moon. This is the dark of the moon. This is where Hekate rules. Up ahead, we see our great fire that we gather around. As we walk towards that fire, we see people that we recognize. And we greet them, smiling, happy. We see new faces. Welcome them in. Share your energy. And Hekate is beckoning us to start to form our circles around this great fire. And we do so slowly. And Hekate asks us to pour in great love and joy into our intentions, even as if they've already been accomplished. I know this is for me. I know this is coming. I will walk my path. So the energy is poured from the heart chakra into your paper. And Hekate, with a swirl of her hand, has a rainbow that's acting like the wind, coming around, gathering up all of the energy and all of the intentions, and creating a beautiful ribbon of connection amongst all of us. And we can feel the intentions of others, and we add our own heart chakra energy to those intentions as well. This is why we gather together, to increase that energy. We now send it towards the fire, and we can see it blaze and lighting up and going much further into the sky. It is a beautiful energy. And now, as we still are remaining in our spots around the fire, Hekate is reminding us that we all will receive a key. And that key will sink in to our heart chakra. This will be opening doors for us when needed. This is always a gift of Hekate. There are no locked doors for her. Now I want you to slowly come back to your own energy, and we will open our eyes slowly. And here we have with us still our intentions. So I would ask that you take your intentions and put them in a special place. Some people put them in a special place in the home. Some people refer to it as an altar. I always think of it as my special crystal space, or I actually place it with my tarot cards, and I have my little heart-shaped amethyst that I place on top of all my intentions. So as we have done that, now we can go ahead and close our ceremony. And I want to thank all of the archangels for being with us, for the protection that they provide. Raphael for the healing, Michael for the truth and watching over us, Sandalphon for joy and pleasure and fun and messages and music. And Uriel for the unexpected towers that will be coming up. So with that energy, we can now blow out our candles and close the ceremony. Thank you so much for joining us. And we will always do our moon ceremony. So the next one is in 2 weeks. It is a full moon with Taurus. So the expansion of money and prosperity into our lives, that's something that we can feel into. So I will bring everybody back up. And we thank you for joining us. So we will see you next week where we do our regular readings. And we will also talk a little bit of astrology and the latest news. And then we will pull cards for you. So please join us next week. Please like, subscribe, share, and we will see you very soon. Bye.